we want to send him as a hero of our country. And he was also a Christian, and he has also been mourned as a true Christian. But it would not be right, because you saw when they went to Lancaster House, he went there wearing a monkey's skin, walking there, and the Wazungus looked at them, and they looked strange with Jaramogi. And therefore, as we say bye to Nyayo, I will judge this. I must send him off as a true African and say, Yawa parurulo, lowangetek, yawa parurulo, lowangetek. Ewoi gimicham emari gimodong tokirkigen. Ewoi gimicham emari gimodong tokirkigen. Choke joy, 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 joy.
Oui.
All right. Very interesting. History repeated itself today. You guys notice? Jaramogi Oginga Odinga standing before the body of the late President Jomo Kenyatta, sang a dirge just like his sons. Walked over to the body just like his son and waved with a fly whisk just as his son did. They do say, what did you guys think about that?
I think it was expected, considering he had done it before during Kijana Wamalwa's, I think in a different way. Remember, he came in charging with a spear, with the bulls, yes. So I think that was his way of saying goodbye to Mzee.
Considering that, you know, and I want you to do it in this backdrop, that much has been said about Raila Odinga and President Moi. Some even say that he was part of the people that, you know, conspired about that attempted coup. He was in detention, we know, for almost 8 years. And he said yesterday that they made their peace. What did that mean for the person that, you know, they were at times loggerheads with? He famously, you know, took NDP into Kanu and blew it up.
You remember he said something
and now,
today.
you know.
He said something today, Raila said something today. He said the relationship I had with Moi was love-hate, which is a very thin line. There was that, they liked each other, but there was that fear. He also had, he put me in detention. But eventually the good thing about him, he came out and said, we squared out, we forgave each other, I forgave him, he forgave me. Meaning Raila admitted he also did a mistake. Because Moi wouldn't have forgiven him if he didn't do anything wrong. You understand? And then for the part where he sings, I think it's just, it's the way I think the Luos bury and all, but it's respect for maybe it's respect and a way of saying kwaheri to mzee.
So high respect.
Yeah.
What picture should that send to all of us who bicker so much about political?
Politics is about interest. The interest of Raila in 1997 with the KANU NDP merger was about interest. The Raila who, before 1997, was not as super rich as he is. So there are interests there, political interests, family interests, economic interests. So the love-hate relations, and it's in public domain, the public domain, that one of the products or the benefits, or the fringe benefits of the KANU NDP was the molasses plant, and so on and so forth. So, being a politician, he knows where his bread is buttered.
Being buttered, yeah.
Absolutely. So it's about interest. Even right now, it's about interest.
Even that.
Absolutely, because politicians they make their money when they make political games. That's how they make their living, because they don't have a salary.
Plapana is looking at you funny.
But okay, let me ask you something, Paul. Let me ask you something, my brother
Say
Paul.
it.
Yeah.
Even Ruto himself said today, Moi was a teacher.
Absolutely.
So meaning Raila also learned something from Moi.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. It's about interests.
It's about interest.
Yeah.
Right.
'cause-
So when you step out
yes,
of that circle,
absolutely,
you
you
lose.
get nothing.
You get nothing.
Absolutely.
I think I would say it this way, you know, in as much as you may not maybe agree with me, most of the things you saw today are aligned to what Some was talking about, the interests. What are the interests of the day?
No wonder we'll be talking about
Yes.
legacy.
What are the interests of the day? You could see previously, I think this is something that has happened over the last 2 years, where Raila has visited Mzee Moi twice. So that is the game plan, you know. So everything has to be choreographed around the happenings of now.
Do you agree, Plapana?
Well, according to your original statement, there was an article last when Moi died. Aida was being interviewed. She said she sat down with Moi and they made peace. They forgave each other. They let it go. And from that time, for me, I consider Raila, his level of politicking, he's the only politician so far who's coming closer to Moi, been shrewd politically.
Sure.
Absolutely.
And as Paul rightly said, politics is about interest. But Raila plays it extremely smart.
I want to
And,
move on to another clip.
Yeah.
In speaking of legacy, because you know, somebody, I forget who it is, likened Moi to a big tree, and said the tree has fallen.
Raila said
Yes,
it today.
and
The
and,
birds will
No,
suffer.
that was Kamket.
it was Kamket. Yes.
Kamket
And
today,
those,
yes.
it was Kamket. And those that used to come under the shade of that tree will find that Raila did too. Actually.
Raila used
It's,
another way.
another
he said
narrative,
it.
but they both say the same thing.
Same thing.
So, basically speaking, you know, with the resting of
Mzee?
Mzee Moi today, even though he was in retirement, the hold that he still had in terms of his influence was still present. And looks like going forward, you know, a lot of people are scrambling to
Alive.
really become the new Moi, you know, the undisputed. You know, it was easy. I know the deputy president, of course, has come out as the Rift Valley leader, but then the truth of the matter was Moi was still there. Somehow people would say, lakini mzee, yeah, bado yuko. When the leader is still alive, it's difficult to really call yourself the total leader until somebody has eclipsed the scene. Given the fact that Moi has now exited the stage. This is what happened today, by the way. Was it significant? Was it not? Does it mean anything? Let's just check this clip up by Senator Gideon Moi.
Iendelee kabisa kabisa. Kwa hivyo saidie na kwa hivyo nitamkabidhi, mimi ni family member pia, nitamkabidhi Raymond alafu atueleze itaelekea ni yeye ama ni nani. Asante. Thank you very much.
Ya kwanza ni kusema kwamba sisi wote tunajua kwamba jogoo mwenyewe amelala. Ama namna gani Rongai? Rongai mko? Rongai mko? Mko? Hebu tingizeni basi. Tusikie. Basi jogoo mwenyewe amelala, na kama amelala, mimi nilikuwa na heshima, I had the respect of being Mzee's president. I had the respect. I had the heshima ya kukuwa mjumbe wa Mzee for the last 7 years. Hiyo ni heshima kubwa pia. Na pia I am President Uhuru Kenyatta's member of parliament. That is also a great honor. A very great honor. I'd also like to thank the people of Rongai. Asanteni sana kwa vile nyinyi mmefika hapa na kwa sababu mnaona hii kitu in terms of seniority and so forth, mimi ndio kweli the leader of this family now. Lakini kwa kisiasa, wacha mimi naamsha Gideon. Gideon kuja. Kwa kisiasa itakuwa huyu, sivyo? So mimi tu ni kusema hivi, kwa vile mzee alituchunga sisi, kwa vile mzee alichunga Kenya hii, kwa vile mzee alichunga sisi wote, pia sisi tunamwambia huyu, tunamwambia yeye KANU ya mke. Ama namna gani Warongai? Si kwa hivyo? KANU ya mke, si unaona watu wamevaa kofia ya jekundu. Tunataka KANU ya mke. Tunajua tuko na BBI and we want to be part of that. Tunakubali BBI kabisa. Kama vile Mheshimiwa Odinga amesema, we are behind you and we are behind the president in trying to create a better Kenya for all of us. So sisi wa KANU tunijitayarisha ili when that is birthed, we will also want to be part of that team. So kwa hiyo maneno ya kisiasa, mimi nimesema nimempea huyu hiyo rungu, lakini si ile ya mzee kawaida, lakini ndio hiyo. Na yeye akiregarega ama si mimi niko hapa, si mimi niko, kwani hata mimi nisitaki, mimi niko, basi lazima yeye afanye kazi. Sasa kwa haya machache, asanteni sana. Najua mmechoka, vumilia tu dakika kidogo.
Honestly, I was not expecting this. Kwa familia ya Moi Kap Chepkeres, jamii wangu wa Kap Chepkeres, na jomba zangu Kap Bomet, hata kushika hii rungu anyway, nitashika and I'll do my best na nitajaribu nikiweka Mwenyezi Mungu mbele. Mengi tutasema baadaye, lakini asanteni familia, asanteni jamii ya jamii wetu wa Kalenjin, asanteni. Mungu awabariki, asanteni.
Nitaomba tutulie kwa heshima, tumuite askofu yu.
So, who wants to go first?
Local politician.
Local politician.
That was quite something.
Yeah.
I really, as a Kalenjin, I really don't understand what ceremony that was, because the one I know where you take muzezu, you know, long time ago we had, our fathers had spears and arrows and bows, and we would do that after the grass has sprouted out of the grave. So I don't know what ceremony that was, but
That baby looked like any grass would be sprouting out of it.
so
Anytime soon.
what I had Raymond say, isi ile fimbo ya mzee ya kawaida. Because naturally, it's the firstborn who's the head of the family. I think that was a clan matter and insignificant in as far as Kalenjin politics is concerned. That is my opinion. Yes.
Do you feel though that you know, going forward there'll be some jostling for the positioning of the Moi-like stature?
If you listened very carefully, I wish you played the clip by His Excellency Dr. William Ruto. He clearly stated that he's a student of Moi and he's a son of Moi. And if we were to be honest, somebody who has tried to play the modern politics and the Moi politics is actually William Ruto. So in my view, in my considered view, I don't think there's any vacuum in Rift Valley. We will solidly, the way we solidly rallied behind Moi until 2002 the same will happen in the run-up to the 2022 elections, where we'll rally behind Dr. William Ruto to the end. That is what will happen, in my opinion.
Only Team Ruto, chale. In my opinion, what happened was just, I think today that was just unnecessary drama. In politics, leadership is not given. It is taken, especially in Kenyan politics. As you rightly said, Dr. Ruto has taken it. That one he has done. But the mannerism of Gideon is too suave for Kenyan politics. Too absurd out of it, you know. Kenyan
do
politics.
You think something will, that, you know, this wakes them up as a family, that maybe we need to bring somebody who
Nothing.
can take over from our father?
They've been there.
Nothing will happen.
Gideon has been an MP since 2000.
You know, Gideon would
We
have
have
made
to-
his name.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is
He
my
had the
honest
time.
opinion, not supporting anyone from there. I also come from Rift Valley, though from a different sub-tribe. I look at it this way. Gideon has been there. Gideon would have fought for his space. But Gideon has come out as a soft politician. I can only compare Gideon to Mudavadi. Those people want to take the back. That's soft. Kenyan politics is kaa ngumu, the way Gumo used to say it. You have to just go for it. Ruto is fighting for his space. People will fighting. That is politics. But one thing I know, there's still a battle in Rift Valley, especially among the Kalenjins. There's still a battle, because both families, there's money that will play rounds in Rift Valley. It's for those people to watch and
So
see.
we watch the space going
Yeah,
forward.
let's watch the space. Let's not come into any conclusions, because there are no permanent enemies
I
in
want to,
politics.
you know, you
can
you
wake
guys are
up one
speaking
day
about the past. Maybe Some, you can tell me something as I want to talk about the military before we close. Given the fact that we are now, for the very first time, in a real post-Moi, even in life, era, you know, as in before, anything could have happened before, but you know, we have not been at a position where President Moi has been referred to as the late.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and this is going forward, especially after tonight, with him having been laid to rest. We are truly in a post-Moi era.
Yeah.
Does it change anything on the political scene?
It is like the feeling we had when we were crossing over to the year 2000. Remember that feeling of 1999, December 31st?
Millennium.
Yeah. It is the same feeling that we had when we were handing over in 2002. There are some of us who feel orphaned. But because coming from a pastoralist community where you do not have only one bull, but you have levels of bulls who are coming into the field, into play. And so for the people of Rift Valley, and even to the greater pastoralist community, I'm speaking from northeastern all the way to Turkana, coming to Samburu, all the way to Narok and Kajiado, where Moi had his roots, his solid background. I feel that there's no void because William Ruto has succeeded in filling that void. Just like he said, leadership is taken. And William Ruto demonstrated that leadership since the time Moi left. Because there was a vacuum. We were orphans. And Moi and William Ruto filled that gap of leadership for us. So therefore, yes, Gideon will be there. And it's good to have choices. But from the heart of hearts of almost 95% of Kalenjins, it is WSR who will take.
I disagree with that. No.
You want people shake their heads.
No, because you people, and I can see totally not, that one is not democracy. Now that is pro-Ruto total.
I'm just
okay, let
saying.
me ask you a question, a very simple question. which statistics did you do that is when you know 95% of Kalenjins? It's the first time you guys are having a vacuum, right?
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
Even my opinion is that simple.
Yes.
Rift Valley has no single leader who's been looked at.
Absolutely.
Ruto has not filled that void. Honestly, he's just Ruto as an individual. But I don't feel Rift Valley has someone that you can look like.
We are going as the
ABCD.
Rift Valley. And
You know,
let me
those
tell
days you have Moi. Moi would speak, you know, this is Rift
basically,
Valley.
you guys are
behind.
just answering my question.
There is no vacuum.
There's room for new players,
Yes.
old
Yes.
players, going back to the drawing
let
board,
me-
rejuvenated
I don't know-
players, some
I
people
don't know.
running faster than others.
And then Levi, another
I'm
thing
just
I want to
wondering.
correct, Paul.
Yes.
Why is it that people believe Rift Valley is just made of Kalenjins? Rift Valley, when you look at
May I-
from Eldoret down to
May I-
yeah, well, let me
May I-
tell you, let's not assume
Okay.
Rift Valley belongs to the Kalenjins. We are also there.
Great. Right of reply. When you talk about Rift Valley, I'm talking about the rift that you know.
Say the Kalenjin
Way,
Rift.
no. Way beyond. Starts talking from the northeastern to Marsabit. All these
you're talking about the
pastoralists,
communities.
it's
I
about,
need to
it's
bring that-
about,
this
it's
particular
about,
thing to
it's
I want
about,
to say
Levi, one more thing.
And
Yeah. Remember the leadership. Let's talk about leadership. Let's look at in Cabernet used to have was it Philemon Chela?
Yeah, Philemon, the mayor. Yeah, the mayor.
You go there, you'd feel now this is the power. You know, you go to Eldoret, you had Saina, who used to be the elephant.
yes.
You would feel now, that was it. You go to Pokot, there was Lotodo.
Lotodo.
That was just now the undisputed leader of the ABCD. Now, Moi was the undisputed leader of Rift Valley. Right now, he's gone. Is there a vacuum? No. Because there's no one actually who's even capable of filling that.
I think, just so that we close this, I don't think the shoes might be this big, but who has made an effort? I think that is what we need to appreciate.
Absolutely.
And just to answer you, Levi, there's nothing like new. Because if we speak about Gideon, he's been in parliament since 2002, in various capacities, 2 terms now as a senator. This is the 2nd term. If he had any capability, we would have seen it, I think. And I will speak specifically so that we are in tandem with Jimmy. I know Rift Valley is huge. But I specifically addressed the Kalenjin issue, I think, when I spoke, when I was making my remarks. For the Kalenjin, it is, I think that one is, there's no vacuum. But I want to mention something that Governor Nanok said one time. And Turkana is in Rift Valley. And you know, alliances will be formed there in the run-up to the election. But he said that the whole of Rift Valley will rally behind. You know what he said. So that is for us to see. Many people will come. There will be some jostling. But as Some rightly put it, they are bulls of Bini. We know which bull
Is
will
in the
outdo
field
the other
currently.
bulls. We know. And
Just
that
say
one-
it.
Yes.
Gani,
we-
we have to call the
The spell of the spell. When you talk
We're not
about
going to run away
if-
from
between those two, Ruto has the capability of taking over the mantle.
and
the
you know,
Bulgari inalima shamba vizuri.
yes, we know.
That's Dr.
And you know,
Ruto.
you cannot just come, a bull has been there for 20 years, and then it wants to come and start for the first time. We want the one who has demonstrated the ability.
The
And that is
gravitas.
The regular
Dr.
bull.
William. Yeah, the regular bull.
The fertile
We don't
one.
want to. and as I said, very,
I'm
very
going to close
important.
the bull story here. I can't believe you guys. I want to talk about the military because the military did some exceptional work.
Awesome.
Great.
Awesome. Awesome. Awesome job.
First, even before the military, I'd like to thank our alumni, Colonel, who was the ADC for the president. That is Colonel Alex Kiprop.
Alex Kiprop, yeah.
Exceptional job. Was faithful to Mzee. Did his
Served
job
to the
perfectly.
Yes.
To the last minute, I saw him do the final.
Right today.
Yeah, rights today, doing the earth to earth.
He could tell you.
Yeah, ashes to ashes. Sure. And then he did his salute, and I was like, this is a good representation of such a high school. I couldn't be more prouder. Yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing that in our time, this is the first time for many of us to see such a show of military, superfluousness in actually.
Levy, our soldiers are fit. I watched those guys
Yeah, I was gonna
walking from State House fast.
I mean, my sister-in-law is watching. We're talking about that. We're talking about that matching. To say, kweli. And it was not a slow match.
Absolutely.
No, they are.
I was even telling Jim today, some people matched with that sun that was outside.
In full regalia.
Plus the gun.
Plus the gun.
But
And you're not walking,
Yeah.
you're marching.
the funny bit is the history of this ceremony. I was reading somewhere, when Mzee Kenyatta died, the military was stuck, they didn't know what to do. So part of the history, they had to go, General Opande or something had to even talk to the British. That's when they got this, the
Proper
British
now,
system. That's when they even scrambled now to do for Mzee Kenyatta. The funeral, the proper one.
Yeah.
They had to, now for this one, they actually did a
This one was an
fantastic
acting
job.
perfection.
I was actually surprised.
And with the timing, when they said 9:30, it was 9:30.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So kudos to our forces, the KDF, excellent job.
Yeah.
Bishop Silas Yego and the current presiding bishop did a wonderful
Just
job.
some of the things about the funeral.
Absolutely,
Yeah? There are many Kenyans who lined up.
absolutely. Uhuru Kenyatta, the president,
Go to parliament.
Super job.
super job.
Yeah.
And I think a
The
lot
president, it is said, by the
Kenyans-
way, drove to Nyayo Stadium to
Yeah. And people were shocked.
inspect the progress himself.
Yes.
He took this one very personally.
Personally.
Very personal.
So
I think it for our president it was very personal.
It was.
Considering what he said today, that
was
when
my father.
when Mzee Kenyatta passed on, he was still young, and Moi brought him up,
And never left
to
them.
be a man and then to be a politician. The intrigues. Makto resigning when Uhuru was the
coming
chairman
from the
of
Kenya Tourist Board.
So I think he owes so much to
Yeah.
Mzee.
to
What does
Mzee.
that say about Mzee also in terms of, honoring the legacy of
Jomo Kenyatta,
Jomo Kenyatta?
he was loyal.
Not many of us can do that with our friends,
Yeah.
He took a bullet. He stood by his decision.
And he
Solidly.
And he looked at
Solidly.
the
And he
future.
wasn't wrong.
And he
he
wasn't
wasn't
wrong. So finally, with time, he was vindicated. Yes.
Yeah.
I'd like to remember Mzee for one thing, loyalty to a fault. Okay? The kind of shenanigans he went through in his time as VP, and then promising Mzee that he'll take care of his family,
And he did.
and he did. And every year going to lay a wreath at his mausoleum
Without fail.
without fail. Okay? What a show of loyalty to a man who had departed when you had all the choices.
Yeah.
When you had all the choices.
Lots of lessons to learn
Absolutely.
from that. Lots of lessons to learn from that, actually. And like I was saying now, to Wananchi, who braved the scorching sun, I just admired
And those queues, man.
how people could make queues.
Absolutely.
I was in Parliament actually the day before yesterday. Wow.
And there's something else I want to talk about. I've come to learn when people are saying about the soda and bread, that has been Moi's culture. Moi fed us. Even when we were from school, you remember when we went for choir in Kabarak, the first thing you'd walk in was a bottle of soda and a loaf of bread.
And then lunch.
Then
thereeafter.
before that, you'd think now we've had lunch.
Yeah.
You've taken so many sodas.
And there was
then-
food, by the way,
Then
today.
the real food comes. You understand? Feeding that crowd, even that bottle of water and what for the family, they tried.
Yeah, because people checked in as early as 4 a.m. in the
And
morning.
nobody missed, and it was
Yeah.
getting your given. Getting your given, it was awesome.
I don't know. I don't know whether you guys noticed that. I know you remember when in 2002 when the handover power was going on, there was a song Yote Yawezekana.
Bila
Bila
Moi.
Moi.
Bila Moi,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Did you notice in Parliament on the last day of the public viewing when the president's body was being transported back to Lee Funeral Home,
Yeah, yeah.
parliamentarians sang Tawala Kenya Tawala,
All of them.
All of them.
all of them.
All of them.
I thought, wow, what a far contrast
What an about
from
time.
how he was sent off from power to how he was sent off, in life. what a far contrast. I think, does it say we've gone full circle in terms of how we appreciate Moi the man?
There's a statement I said. He said,
Yes.
and that statement will live with Kenyans forever. Mutanikumbuka.
Tanikumbuka. You'll remember me.
And we are all Africans. You know, it is bad to abuse an old man. We did abuse Mzee. As Kenyans in 2002, when he was handing over power, people threw mud at the cars, did what? And he handed over power and went and retired. What we are going through as Kenyans should be a learning lesson to respect our leaders, especially our elders. That's why you talked about the tweets about Bonfet Mwangi and everybody. There are guys who do it to get money. Yeah. But the moment we as Kenyans we start respecting our leaders, I think our country will change.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We failed to respect Mzee Moi on his last day. And he told us, even Museveni said that time, you guys will remember. And I think Kenyans we are remembering.
Yeah.
We talked of
I think we sent him well this time.
Yeah, we did.
It was befitting.
It was befitting.
David, there's something President Yoweri Museveni mentioned during the mass at
Nyayo
Nyayo
Stadium.
About forgiveness. You know, it's like Moi had a
Very
heart. He
forgiving.
would forgive, and I think he forgave Kenyans, even though, as Jimmy rightly put it, that was something very sure. We had not. I remember during those days in the 90s, 80s, it was even almost unimaginable to talk ill of the president. And here we were not used to that. People throwing mud and saying "Yote yawezekana." It was quite, it was quite something. So I know Moi forgave Kenyans, and he retired peacefully. We will surely miss him. We miss his leadership style. He consulted Kenyans widely. He shared his home with so many delegations for so many years. Something that you find hard to do even in your house, even visitors for 2 days. You know, we find it so burdensome nowadays, you know. But Moi did it for all of us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Somebody said Moi was generous. How many people used to go to Moi's house and eat?
Every
That doesn't
day.
happen. After he left, we don't hear such stories anymore. That I welcome people to my house. There was a delegation. It doesn't happen. That
Well,
talks
as one
about
of
his
his policies,
generosity.
you can start that for us.
Yeah?
We can come
There's
and
somewhere where it happens.
I would like
You've
to,
just forgotten.
as we live here, I'd like to remember Mzee for one thing. One, Mzee ends up being the one who has expanded the table for the rest of the Kenyans. Kenyatta tried, but it's Mzee who brought the marginalized societies, communities. Talk about the mainstreaming of the Somalis in this country, the mainstreaming of the Turkanas in this country, the Pokots, the Masais, the Samburus, okay? So that in his distribution of opportunities, both the economic largesse, but also the appointments, you saw the face of Kenya. And that's one thing I'd like to thank the president for. He mainstreamed the minorities. The other thing for me is the women agenda. Beijing 1995.
Yeah. He appointed the first woman cabinet minister.
Yeah,
Maendeleo wanawake, maendeleo
Nyiva
wanawake.
Mwendwa. The first CSS, Sally Kosgei.
Built very many girls.
Yeah, very many girls' schools. FGM started the campaign, anti-FGM campaign started with him. Those are things I'll remember. But what I miss about President Moi is the lack of exerting of influence by Kenya in the diplomatic space. That's what is lacking. Remember, during Moi's time, we were peace building and peace contributing all over the world. He was consulted all over the world. Remember that time, Mokhtar talking about him being sent to Iran to meet Ayatollah Khomeini.
By the way, you know, as you say that, by the way, you know he is still the only president to ever serve 2 terms
of the
as the OAU
chairman.
Yes.
Okay.
The only president in Africa.
Absolutely. So
back-to-back
I
terms.
miss the space that we had as a country in terms of diplomatic weight, using both soft and hard power. And that's what I'm
It's
looking
interesting you
forward
say
to.
that because Dr. Sally Koske today gave quite
Ah, man, amazing.
an extensive tribute.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Moi's diplomatic,
Diplomatic
Absolutely.
life.
yeah, I think she taught us all something. In fact, people were saying
She
and I
should
think
write
it
a
was,
book,
His Excellency Kalonzo
also
Musyoka who said, write
That
something,
woman.
put
Write
it somewhere.
something so that it
Absolutely.
goes to the government,
You know.
Absolutely.
like, government
Yeah.
school.
And it made me think, a lot of our leaders are going without really giving us the history.
The nuggets.
We need to capture
Yeah.
that
Of,
somewhere, yeah.
Of those things they have done. Some of them maybe in books, maybe some of them in documentaries. Even us as the press, we should do a little bit more
Absolutely.
in trying to get that so that people, because in the past 1 week since the death of President Moi, we have actually covered more ground than we could ever do in our GHC lessons.
Absolutely.
In as far
We
as his
have
presence is
learned
concerned.
a lot.
We have learned a lot.
I think there's a documentary we used to run about the Kenyan politicians.
Yeah.
I think we should just enhance that.
Hillary
We
Ngweno.
capture Sally Koske.
Hillary Ngweno.
Yes, Hillary Ngweno. We should capture what we should interview Franklin Bed, people who are with the
Yeah.
Akina Abraham Kiptanui, the people who are with Moi, just to tap, like get to
today,
know
you
our.
know, there's
Even
something
the
I was
Kibaki
told-
men.
Even the Kibaki men.
There's
Yeah.
something
Yes.
I was.
Well, there's a
I
lot
really
which
wanted
goes
to
on
know.
Behind the scenes,
behind
yeah.
the scenes, yes.
They should have, I don't know if they gave these former ministers who are the old men who are with Moi that are still alive, the Brooding Abueras,
Yeah.
did they give them a chance to even talk about how the cabinet was? Okay, fine, those Sunkuli talked, I think.
Equally, yeah.
But the old men who are with him, with those old generations.
It was
they-
difficult to
it was
get people
difficult,
to
yeah.
do
Absolutely.
Well, guys, we're out of time. I have to take your final comments on what you would remember about President Moi and what you think we as Kenyans can pick up and take forward. Who wants to go first?
Peace, love, and unity. That is what we should pick. Nyayo philosophy of peace, love, and unity. We need to love each other as Kenyans, have a peaceful environment, and unite as one country. And when we say unite, is unite everybody, not for selfish reasons, not for political reasons, not for any affiliations or groupings that will yield something in the next election. We just need to have it as Kenyans. Peace, love, and unity, as President Moi, our second president, would have loved.
For me, I would go back to the motto, be mindful of others and be true to yourself. I think the late president was true
That was
to
the, must
himself.
say, it was the school motto.
It was a school motto for Sacho.
Yeah.
But again, also, when you think about it, he lived his life truthfully. He's only human. I'm sure he made mistakes, as we all do. But he lived his life. He professed his faith. He never hid it. And he actually, we should, as Kenyans, we need to expand Moi's legacy, especially in education. In Kenya now, we are probably the most, either the top educated country in Africa.
Number 2 on Twitter.
Or whatever, number
Twitter
2. And,
It means actually it's a sign of education.
and for him, that shows, that was his legacy because education was passionate to him. I'll remember Moi for that.
So,
I'd remember Moi for kindness. He was an extremely kind guy. Very humble, down to earth, but very strict. It's a good mix. And that's what I'll remember Moi for, being loyal to friends. I remember Moi paying school fees, educating children, even helping them go abroad of his friends. Loyalty. It's one of those things that is rare in our society. It's getting rarer, and that's what I'll remember Mzee for. Yeah.
For me, I have so many things I remember Mzee Moi. One, as we spoke about it before, we survived without aid for a very long time in Kenya. And we survived. There was money in the economy. Kenyans were not struggling that much. I don't know how Moi did it, but we appreciate him. And then another thing, Moi, the Spiridonia said it, that just peace, love, and unity. I'm not seeing any of our leaders right now who are preaching that, just trying to say Kenyans should be one. Most of our leaders right now are doing it for selfish gains. Maybe I'm looking at 2022, you understand? Moi did it for the love of Kenyans. I miss the Kenya where we didn't look at tribe. That is the Kenya Moi left us with. But right now, we speak about tribe. Moi, one, education. Schools were cheap. Look at the schools now, people are suffering. People are going broke because of fees. My prayer is let these leaders we have right now just look at what Moi did. Let them learn. They've called him a teacher today. And what I don't like about our leader, sorry to say this, is when we always unite, our leaders always unite during funerals. We are waiting for another strong, big person to die so that we go and speak to Kenyans and tell them how we'll unite. Then after, that is the next day on Sunday, we are speaking something else. If our leaders could learn that from Moi, it would be very nice.
Well, thank you guys. It's been
Thank
nice reminiscing and discussing. And it's been actually a bittersweet week. Just remembering the former president as well as, thinking about all the good things that he left, and even just recalling the good times, the times that he did well, talking about some of the things that may not have gone so well, and just celebrating the life of the icon, His Excellency, the former President Daniel Toroitich arap Moi. From us at CAS Media, we do want to say pole again to the family, and also just to wish the former President eternal rest in the arms of God the Father. God bless you. Good night. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And looking forward for other discussions that are not about by funerals.
Yeah, but hot ones.
Those ones on legacy.
Yes.
Good night.
Asante.
Yeah.